So, welcome back to our geopolitical, ecological, and technological series GPET 57. We're going to talk about the Israel Palestine war. Today, it's been a month that the war is going on. So, Professor Khurana, I would like to ask you what, according to you, are the reactions of various groups and countries? There have been a lot of protest, a lot of people in favor of Palestine, few people in favor of Israel. There have been talks that why Israel could not have its own intel so good that they were not able to understand that Hamas is going to attack. Then there were one talk that US is going to join hands, India is supporting Israel, but India adopted a middle path also. There have been different kind of reactions to this war by different groups and by different nations. So what's your view? How these reactions are going to impact the world economy or the world geopolitical relationships at large?
Okay, Dr. Kala, I think you have posed some very good questions and all of them at one go. So I will just take it in the sequence in which you asked them. First of all, it's one of the most unfortunate events. I personally feel it because I used to have in the US, where I was studying, Jewish friends. They were so good. I had a Jewish classmate in IIM Ahmedabad who was Indian Jew, and then he had shifted to Tel Aviv, to Israel. At an individual level, they are intellectuals. Most of the scientific prizes, Nobel prizes.
Yeah, they have a very scientific and
you look at the
thinking
list of people who have received Nobel Prize in medicine, and you only find
Jewish.
Jews.
Right.
Einstein, Niels Bohr.
No, they have been known for their scientific
That's right.
contribution to the world.
Now, very unfortunate events had happened to them during Hitler's regime and in other countries also. And about 6 million Jews had died. And then the movement, which was quasi-social movement, Zionism, picked up that there should be a home for the Jews. And there should be a Jewish homeland. And they may have considered many places. This Zionism group had expanded to a number of European countries, and including the US. And in the end, the area which was the protectorate of the UK, British, within the Arab lands, where Jerusalem was there, which has, as you know, the religious places of three religions. Some people even say that three religions were born there, but Prophet Muhammad is said to have gone to heaven from one of the mosques. Bethlehem Church is there. Christ was taken after death and said he'll be reborn. And the Jewish the Temple of the Rock. So it has a special attachment for all these people. And in 1947, when this discussion was going on, it was said that Jerusalem will remain a separate city and it will be an international city under the UN. In the end, it was not so. Without going into too much history back, that is the starting point of seeds of hatred. It should have been the opposite. But that is where the seeds of hatred were sown, for which we are reaping the results even now. And that is that Jews, I should not say people, but the Jewish organization overplayed the hand and started acquiring, even by payment or otherwise, the areas around. Statistics are that 30% of the land was of the Palestinians in this area, and 70% was of government. So if it was of government, not all of it, but some big landlords of Syria, other Arab countries had lands which were not productive, so they just bought huge tracts of land, which was then later on sold to the Israel. So the government land was Palestinian land, but that became Jews' land, right? That's the second seed. With the result that when they had control over 70% of the whole area, the Palestinians became less. They were at that time more in population, about 2 million. And Jews became by 1948 700,000. The Jews argue, or not Jews again, organization, that 700,000 Jews came from other Arab lands. They were pushed out. And if 700,000 Palestinians went out, so what? The counter argument is that's not Palestinian fault. Whether they were pushed out or they came on their own because it's a Jewish homeland. So if 700,000 Jews come from there, and Jews were supposed to come from outside, anyways, whether Europe or Arab countries, the Europe's, so they don't mind, but the ones coming from the Arabs, Arabic lands, they mind. So, see, how can it be our fault? But they got replaced. Now, one thing to remember is that these 700,000 who were pushed out didn't have enough money to go and buy lands. Where? Lebanon? Syria? No. So they went to refugee camps. And till today they live in refugee camps.
Okay.
3 generations have passed by. Now remember, those 3 generations have not seen anything happy about Jews or Israel. Right?
Here I would, if they were living in the refugee camp, that was the situation which happened when there was a India-Pakistan. There were a lot of people from Pakistan who came to India, remained as refugee, and there were a lot of people from India moving to Pakistan. But it was the effort of the people in that refugee camp that today they are well established in India, or be it the Bangladeshis who came as a refugee. So why can't these Palestinian group, why can't they be developed? Don't you think somewhere down the line it's their fault also?
I'll tell you, there are 2 differences. I don't want to go too much into the 1947 partition. It was horrible also. The number of millions of people who died are a fault of the politicians of that time.
Yeah, that's another story. I'm just
but listen to it.
Creating.
Listen to it. There were people who owned property this side in India who left. That's called evacuee property. The Indians means Hindus and Sikhs mostly, who owned property that side, that became evacuee property. There was a very well organized system under the Rehabilitation Ministry to give one to the other, depending on what they had got and what was the total. Total assets on Jansi. Supposing there were 10 units left in Pakistan, and there were 20 units there. Now, if I had some units there, therefore I got 20% share. There was a formula. If I had that much, I got 40% share. If I had 100 acres, I got 10 acres, right? Like that. So that formula was very good, and people had agreed. So therefore, something or the other the persons got. They did not become zero.
No, there were a lot of families, those who were totally zero. They could not get it because they were not having those, what should I say, formal documents to prove that they were actually having.
Fair enough. Statistics are available about this thing. Obviously, when this happens, it pinches more, right? But most of them got something or the other, right? And as you rightly said, and it by the way varied in Bengal and Punjab side, or NCR. Bengal side, they did not come up to the same standard of living, maybe till even now, but for 50 years. So, but the people from Punjab, because of their personality and social thing,
yes,
and supporting each other, and getting something or the other.
So it's the effort of the people also.
No, but also compensation. You see, if everybody comes to zero, I can't study. I can't go for education. I can't go.
Agreed, but still the effort from that generation is also required that I want to develop.
Absolutely right.
Somewhere down the line, they must have enjoyed being refugees.
If it were not so, Dr. Kalra, we have attached the figures of old Arabic time like Jaffa and Haifa and even Gaza. It is not a slum still. There are those houses, right? You can see it from top. The hospitals, maybe funded by Turkish government, Indonesian government, Jordanian government, UN, right? They're there now. And which was the latest fight? We can connect the rest of the story. 2014, right? And look at the graph. Which year they have not had a conflict?
No, that conflict is very old.
Right.
Since ages, since my childhood, I have been listening about Israel.
Now, therefore, this did not happen to the Punjabis, here or there. Those who went there, right? Pakistan had plenty of resources. For the first 10 years, their GDP per capita was higher than India. Now it is in the doldrums. Why? Because they overspent on military as a percentage of their GDP. Same thing, Gaza. If there is going to be fight every time, not every time they're going to get free fund military thing, ammunition. Which means whatever they earn, and I'll come to something interesting, whatever they earn, a very large percentage of it goes for the non-productive military expenditure. That did not happen in whole of India, and certainly did not happen for Punjabis in particular. If at all they went and joined the military forces, and therefore were getting very decent salaries. Right? So I think it was almost a collective conscious of the society that let's not worry about what has been left behind. Because in their mental framework, there is a particular sentence, you may have heard it. Khada pita apna baki bulle shada.
Right.
Why? Because that area means invasions. Kha pi lo, nahi to bulle shah aayega, so he will take away all the treasures you have. And they'll fight. So they are not unused to fight for thousands of years. This has happened. And Bulle Shah has come, everything destroyed, and we build again, right? So that is there in the psyche. Here, therefore, the difference is there, that you are sitting there, like if there were two enclaves, there or three enclaves in Pakistan, and surrounded by all the Pakistanis, who said we are Islamic government. India is democratic republic. They are Islamic republic, which means non-Islamic people are second class. They don't have the same rights. This is exactly the issue in Israel and so on. That Jews are citizens class 1. These guys are citizens class 0. They have no rights. They can't vote. See? Now those, therefore, we have to go into what is happening societally. But otherwise, what has happened? Since so many settlements have come in West Bank also, 700,000 to be exact, same 700,000 number. Which was the land? Because that's occupied territory. Which was the land of Palestinians, right? Now they have wall there. Who built the wall? Israeli government. Who built the wall? Palestinians. For money, for Mazduri. Right? Now let's go further. People think in terms of where did the intel go? How could they have so good intel that they sent rockets to the right places? Right? And we are throwing rockets, still they are just landing on hospitals which we really don't intend, and we are not throwing in the right places. One answer is the following. You have to see that these are now well-off Israelis. So their drivers, their maids, and such menial tasks, all of them are done by people who go from Gaza in buses in the morning and come back in the buses. They can't go anywhere else except where they're going to work. So most of the menial tasks in the belt, which now they have destroyed, are done by Palestinians, where they get their income, right? Now, therefore, every house is details than you. So there is somebody who gets debriefing done. This is one answer, really speaking, of how their intel was so far superior. And what was the best time? Because it was the festival time. So now let's pack it up. That what is in details? The analysis is also in details. Strategic aspects, this, that we can find out, but here strategy is so confused. There is no strategy of anybody because it is defensive. No? If this had not happened, then probably there would have been close relationships because Bahrain and UAE and Morocco have already signed up cooling off with Israel. Saudi is considering it. Israel and India have become very good friends. They can take the support of USA and Europe for granted. Right? In other words, there would have been acceptance of what Israel does. Secondly, people in the Arab region, this is the only country which has advanced in technology. Drip irrigation. So out of deserts, they have grown all these beautiful orchards with little water. They are one of the leading ones in chips. They can make advanced fighter jets.
Yeah, that way they are advanced. They have always been known for these things.
Always means, but remember, like you gave the example of Punjabi, they started with zero, no, at that time in 1948.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. That somewhere down the line, it's your own intentions, also your own motives, also, which keep you.
No, you have to see that you have the starting something or not, right? They got plenty of capital from outside, right? JP Morgan, ABCD, financial services, this, that, all of them are owned by Jews, right? Secondly, one of the industries, which I don't know much about, but ladies do, is diamonds. And Belgium used to be a place where the raw, rough diamonds will come from Africa, wherever, even Russia. And then will be cut, polished. Slowly that business started coming to India and Israel. Now Belgium business is finished. The Israel have become Belgium of yesterday. They were also Jews. They have connection with all the marketing outlets, best jewelers in the world, etc. And India, the Surat that is, they do diamond cutting and polishing, and now they have those pressed so-called artificial diamonds, which we made. Of the lower and lower middle, while the upper end is still done in Israel. Now, Haifa is one of the towns which has the center. Start explaining to you why it was bought by the Indians. To start explaining to you why the connection is going to be formed. But what is the issue there? The issue is there that they have touched an industry, right? Those who were there in Israel at that time didn't have the capability. But the capability has been developed. So that means it's strategy.
So when they can develop it strategically, what these Palestinians were doing, why can't they think of it?
No education. No exposure. Can't go anywhere.
So why, there was one leader, Yasser Arafat, he took certain steps.
Yeah.
Then after that, no leader from them thought about it.
Listen, there you now talk about leadership. Palestinians, personally, I think, have been unfortunate on that. What is the unfortunate?
Sir, I don't think anybody can be unfortunate unless you want it.
When you can't do anything and if you do something, you get shot. That is a different matter. Free choice in a democracy is a different matter. Israel is also not a democracy, by the way. Okay, but anyway, let me complete that sentence. What is that sentence? That since the PLO was formed, there have been only two presidents till today. Yasser Arafat and now Abbas, whom our friend Mr. Jaishankar also met yesterday, and Blinken also met yesterday or day before yesterday. You see, about the leaders, you have to imagine that, they were like a militant group, FPLO, right? Then some hand was given by the European countries that yes, we will recognize you. They could not form a government in whole of the area, right? Because here Hamas won out in the election 2008, right? Therefore, they are not the representative of all the Palestinians. Now the issue comes. Has it been all that bad in West Bank and so on? You have to look at the analysis of where the money is coming from, right? Estimate is available as far as Gaza is concerned, about $100 million a year aid they get from the Arab countries. Secondly, Qatar underwrites a number of things, and they are managed through Hamas, right? PLO gets international aid, which it does not share with these fellows. So don't assume that they are one body, right? The day they become one body, situation will be different. They had thought in 2008 that PLO will win, but by that time, the impression, I don't know how correct, had started getting formed that they have become a corrupt organization. That all this aid which was coming was substantial part going into the pockets of the leaders, right? So and they except for Abbas maybe or somebody, in both cases, even Hamas, right, or Hezbollah, they all stay outside this area because they're afraid of Israelis, right? So they hide in different countries, including they go to Qatar as far as the Hamas is concerned, right? But Qatar has played a very interesting role there. Qatar has positioned itself as an aid giver, not as a giver of material. Now, it is out of that aid that your social services have been developed. Now, why I am saying all this? So they have these sources, like a regular government. After all, there's only 2 million odd people working in low and menial jobs in construction, maybe making tunnels. And so that's a limited amount of money with which they develop. So Hamas, as I mentioned to you, is a child of Muslim Brotherhood and started as a social service organization. Then they developed a political wing. That political wing is, you can call it the militant wing. 100% of the arms have come from outside. Maybe except for these desi rockets. Now, let's proceed further. Yeah. So, in other words, they've done fairly well, right? Only thing is the media is not in their hands, right? Media always plays negative story about them. Media doesn't say that they have had 12 little wars in the last 12 years, right? And whatever little capital they would have would get destroyed, no? What will you do? What will those kids do?
Right. So, okay, let's leave this.
Yeah, let's leave the issue. Yeah, this is.
Yes,
there is no one
very,
answer. There is no one answer to
Right,
these issues.
right. Everybody has their own view looking.
One important function of these images is, I believe, that they justify the use of Western power to seek control over the East and to possess its riches.